In the 1960s, Yale psychologist Stanley Milgram experimented on human obedience, seeing how far ordinary Americans would go in obeying immoral orders, as many Germans had done during the Nazi period. The experiment measured the willingness of the subjects to obey an authority figure, instructing them to perform acts that conflicted with their personal conscience. Milgram's testing revealed that millions of Nazi accomplices were merely following orders despite violating their deepest moral beliefs. This experiment was originally advertised as an experiment on human memory and learning in the newspaper. Milgram's so-called memory experiment was closed to females. The voluntary male participants were then taken inside and seated next to an already present male in the room, who in fact, unknowingly to the voluntary participant, was a paid actor by Milgram. The two males then drew slips of paper to determine which one of them would become the learner and which one would become the teacher. The voluntary participant did not know that both slips of paper had the word teacher written on them, and Milgram's paid actor was in fact always to be the learner. It was then explained to the voluntary participant and Milgram's hired learner that the learner was to remember or learn various phrases read by the teacher. The teacher read the full phrases once, then read each partially, with the learner having to choose the word that followed in the multiple choice. Each wrong answer the learner gave the learner an electric shock, administered by the participant. With each wrong answer that the learner gave, the voltage shock was increased, up to a maximum of 450 volts, which is lethal to humans. The subjects believed that for each wrong answer, the learner was receiving actual shocks. In reality, there were no shocks. After Milgram's learner was separated from the subject, the experimenter set up a tape recorder integrated with the electroshock generator, which played pre-recorded sounds for each shock level.
The experiment is about to begin. I will now read 4 phrases. Monkey, poop, bulimic cheetah, starfish, Mr. Krish, crab, jockey. Now, you must answer the correct ending to one of the phrases as I say the first word. Monkey. I'm sorry, jockey is incorrect. Due to your incorrect answer, I will now administer a 45-volt shock.
Some test subjects paused at 135 volts and began to question the purpose of the experiment. Most continued after being assured that they would not be held responsible.
Sorry, it's incorrect. I'm sorry, that's what she said is incorrect. I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. You sure he's okay?
It is vital to this study that you continue. A few subjects began to laugh nervously or exhibit other signs of extreme stress once they heard the screams of the pain coming from the learner.
I'm now going to administer a 450-volt shock. What have I done?
In Milgram's first set of experiments, 65% of experiment participants administered the experiment's final massive 450-volt shock. At some point, every participant paused and questioned the experiment. Some said they would refund the money they were paid for participating in the experiment, but only one participant steadfastly refused to administer shock below the 300-volt level. Before conducting the experiment, Milgram had polled 14 Yale University senior year psychology majors as to what they thought would be the result. All the poll respondents believed that only a few would be prepared to inflict the maximum voltage.